And just like that, once again, I'm live again, 2 times in one evening tonight. It's the first that I've done that. Tonight, guys, as you see, I just had a few minutes ago, I had Julia Alonso. She's fighting in the main event. She's fighting against my friend right here, Joy Ann Pendell. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I can't complain. I can't complain. I'm doing good. It's been a real busy week at work and everything. But, today's my Friday night. It's my weekend. But I'm looking way more forward to this weekend coming up. This Saturday, guys, if you don't know already, right here in Visalia at the Visalia Convention Center, we have the 559 cage fights. I believe it's 559.93. Am I correct?
I believe so. 93. Yep.
It's 93. And Joy, uh, I had the opportunity to interview you in the past, and I appreciate you for taking the time to come on. Hey, we had no idea this would be happening. You're fighting in the main event this Saturday. I always knew that you were making it to the next level. Is this your first main event fight, and how do you feel about this main event?
It's my second main event, but for the show that I headlined before, it was a very small show, and it was at a sports expo, so it didn't have the same buzz around it. I've fought for 559 twice before. This will be my third time fighting for them. They're a really good amateur production. They do a really good job with their fights, with their photography, their videography. Really, everything about it feels professional. It's just it's really the step between, I feel like, amateur and pro. 559 does a really good job. So I'm excited that this will be. I feel like this is my first real main event.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what? 559 fights. It's, in my opinion, from what I've seen, and I look at a lot of it, they are probably the closest to being professional as you can get. You know what I mean? Especially everything Jeremy Luchow's doing with 559, the production, the promotion, the videotaping, the camera, the referees, the judges. It's as professional as you can get. Jeremy's got a lot of experience, so he's doing a great job. And man, you guys are fighting in an awesome venue at the Visalia Convention Center. Is a super, super cool place. Is this your first time fighting there?
No, both the times I fought before was at the Visalia Convention Center. So, yep, I've gotten 2 TKOs already in that center, and I plan to get the third one on Saturday.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, man, you and your opponent are both super cool. I've met both of you guys now, and both of you ladies, women, you guys have great respect for not just the art, the fighting, and each other, but man, the whole thing going on. What do you think about this? You know, this is a trippy life you're living in. For one, you're doing this fighting in a cage in front of all these people. How old are you first?
I'm 33.
You're
Just turned 33.
33. Now, when you were a young kid, did you ever think that you'd be doing something like this?
Never, not in a million years. I'm very cool-headed. I get along with everybody. I've never been in a fight outside of martial arts. Martial arts competition. I started jiu-jitsu at 24 because I was just a little bit out of shape and a little chubby, and I wasn't happy with how I looked or how I felt. And I knew that I wouldn't have the motivation to go to a normal gym. So I'd seen a clip of Ronda Rousey breaking Miesha Tate's arm, and I was like, I could do that. And I Googled MMA gyms in Sacramento. Uriah Faber's popped up, and then the rest is history. I just went in and signed up and just been doing jiu-jitsu ever since. And obviously, I got into shape, and I do feel good now about how I look and about my body and about what it's capable of. And I just had no idea about martial arts or how real and effective it is, and how real and effective jiu-jitsu is. I just had no idea. And now I do, and now everyone else does too.
Oh man, what martial arts can do for your mindset. For one, what it does for your body is a great thing. It gets you in health. It gets you in good shape. But the confidence that it builds and what it does for your mindset, like not just your confidence in fighting or self-defense, but what martial arts can do for a person with their confidence in their occupation or life or whatever goals they have in life. It's just amazing. Man, if anybody out there, you got a youngster or a child and you want to give them something good for their life, even if you don't plan on, having them fight or them fighting, it's really, it's one of the best things you can do. Now, Ronda Rousey, man, there's so many people that just You know, not everybody can express it like you are, but there's a lot of people that Ronda Rousey have had a great influence on. Man, she's an awesome person, and man, you and your opponent both started martial arts later in life, and you know, most people I've talked to, even myself, the people that have hopped in that cage and done this cage fighting, they usually started when they were a young child in wrestling or karate or boxing or whatever it was, and worked their way up. You, what was your first style that you jumped in? Was it jiu-jitsu or wrestling?
Jiu-jitsu. Yep.
Now you're in Sacramento, is that correct?
Yes.
Were you born and raised there?
No, I was born and raised in Stony Ford, California, which is 2 hours north of Sacramento. It's a tiny little town of 250 people. So I was raised on a farm, and my parents are commercial beekeepers. So I grew up keeping bees, and my uncle's cattle rancher. So I just grew up around animals and farm life. And you know, I always had a little bit of natural athleticism, or sense of how to use my body from just working. And I played soccer when I was a youngster, a kid, and then I played soccer in high school as well, and then I did swimming and track. Um, but then other than that, I mean, I've always enjoyed being outdoors and doing physical things. I like hiking and just going on walks. When I was in college, I'd play frisbee golf and anything outdoors and active with my friends. But yeah, that's the first real serious sport I got into was jiu-jitsu and competing in jiu-jitsu. Started off with a jiu-jitsu competition. As you can see, there are all my jiu-jitsu medals behind me. I've competed a lot over the years. Some of them are kickboxing medals, but most of that's jiu-jitsu. But I just dove into it, and then let's see, I started jiu-jitsu in 2014, and then I took my first MMA fight at the end of 2018.
Oh man, jiu-jitsu competition, I'll tell you what, is one of the greatest things that I ever did before I decided to step into the mixed martial arts world. You get so much great experience in a jiu-jitsu competition. Who is your coaches in jiu-jitsu? Do you have the same coach that you started with, or what? How's that route been for you?
Yeah, so I went white to black belt under Dustin Akbari. He's under Cassio Warnick, and he was the head jiu-jitsu coach at Team Alpha Male. So I started my jiu-jitsu journey there at TAM. But for those of you who don't know Dustin, he is one of the highest level no-gi players out there. He has competed against the very best in the world, Gary Tonin and Jonathan Satava, and just all sorts of big names. He won worlds as a brown belt. He's won a lot of things, but he's just a really really slick no-gi black belt. And I'm super proud to be his black belt. Myself and my best friend Liz were his only two female black belts, and I'm just very proud of that. Anyway, but then when COVID hit, Ultimate Fitness shut down, and so but then there was another academy that was still open, as Precision, which is Sarah McMahon and Chad Bingham's gym, and so I started going over there. And my best friend, she started going over there too. And then I just never left. It's not that I ever meant to leave Ultimate Fitness, because I love Ultimate Fitness and I have so much respect for Uriah and all those guys over there. I mean, they're amazing. But yeah, I just Precision just became my new jiu-jitsu home. My best friend and I were two peas in a pod. We're the same height, same weight, both black belts. You know, we've come up the ranks together the whole time. So wherever she goes, I'm gonna go, at least for jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I still talk to Dustin. He had his own school, so I'd go visit him. And I really need to make it back to TAM sometime and just say hello and drop in. And I mean, their no-gi program is off the hook, and wrestling, everything, MMA, obviously, everything's great over there. So definitely need to stop back in. But currently, I train my jiu-jitsu and my kickboxing at Precision. My kickboxing is under Donald Robertson. And he's a really high level, really great kickboxer, and just a really good coach. I should say Muay Thai. It's because Muay Thai is his specialty. But it's just made a lot of things make sense for me. And then I train MMA under Daniel Brito, and Brito and DJ, they work together, and they just started, they're calling it Lineage Striking Systems. So I'm proud to represent Precision, Lineage, and Brito. I came to him as an 0-2 amateur, actually, because my first 2 amateur fights I lost by decision. And I came to him and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And we have fixed a lot of the things. We fixed the things that I was doing wrong. And now we're on a 3 TKO win streak for MMA. And I've had 7, I believe, straight smoker fight, Muay Thai and wins under him. And then I had a boxing smoker fight a month ago too, and which I won. So Brito and I together since I came to him in 2019. Yeah, 2019. So it's been 3 years with him now. We're on a 9-fight win streak, and about to make it 10 this weekend. But those guys, man, they have stuck with me. They have really turned this grappler into a striker, made me really fall in love with it. And I just feel good about myself everywhere now, I feel, whether it's on the feet, on the ground, clinch, wall, wrestling, anything. I feel really, really comfortable and confident, and so good in my defense. And they've really changed the way that I fight, the way I think about martial arts, the way I think about everything. So yeah, Brito and DJ have really made me the fighter I am.
Oh man, everything you just said right there was awesome. I'll tell you what, you got a great group of coaches right there. I know who all those guys are, but you said one of the coaches that I know from way back in the day, and Cassio Wernick. Yeah, that's one legit ass jiu-jitsu dude right there.
Oh yeah.
When I was competing back as a white belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu years back, Cassio Wernick always had one of the best teams out there. And later on, Cassio's jiu-jitsu team, people started to see Cassio and learn about him. And then it led right into the MMA. And he's had some of the best MMA fighters train under him. So, yeah, that's awesome. You got yourself a great team right there. Man,
Yeah,
this is going to be a good fight this weekend. I can't wait. Jeremy's doing the right thing by putting you guys in the main event. Now, your opponent, you've obviously seen her fight. How do you feel about your opponent and how your skills match up against her?
Yeah, well, real quick, I cannot neglect to mention how lucky I am to have Sarah McMahon as my wrestling coach and training partner. Like, she's amazing and such a nice person and so giving and cares so much about her students and her family there at Precision. I mean, we're super tight, the whole group there at Precision. And and Chad Bingham is really, his jiu-jitsu is very high level, especially the gi jiu-jitsu, which I realize doesn't directly translate to MMA, but hey, all the martial arts is so important. And just being a well-rounded martial artist, even in the gi, I personally think it's important. So, but that's just the black belt coming out in me. I mean, I'll always love the gi. But so about my opponent, it looks like she has really heavy hands. She looks strong. She looks dangerous. I know she'll be looking for that overhand right, trying to knock me out, or maybe a straight right cross. So I definitely can't take her lightly. I've prepared and trained really well for her, just working on my range control, working on, but of course, I'm not afraid to grapple. It's just going to be on my terms when I choose to. But she looks like a good test for me, a good challenge. I've fought really high quality opponents in the past, the very best in the world in jiu-jitsu. And then as far as MMA, I fought Jeslyn Michelle. She was my very first fight, which I lost the decision, but it wasn't, I didn't get, beat down or anything. It was a good fight. I almost caught her in a knee bar. I just couldn't quite finish it. She finished on top at the end of the fight, got 2-1 over me, and won that fight. But regardless, she was a very high quality opponent, and I know what it's like to get in there with her. Carlene Chandler was another high quality opponent I faced. I finished her TKO second round, but that was by no means an easy fight. That took planning, preparation, execution, but we got the job done. And I've fought other girls that had heavy hands, were well prepared. So and I've had so many, Muay Thai smokers against big, powerful girls. My boxing smoker, she was my height, a little bit lighter than me, but not by much. I think we were within 5 pounds of each other, and I've fought really good girls before, so I'm excited for Julia. She's just a little bit different. Every fighter's going to be a little bit different, but I'm really looking forward to this matchup. And I mean, no offense to my opponent, but I just feel like I'm better everywhere. And obviously, it's a fight, and anything can happen, and that's what makes it exciting. And if I get caught slipping and not sharp on my game, I mean, she absolutely could knock me out. So I have to be calm and professional and ready to do my job. But I am. I've done everything. No stone's been left unturned. You can't fake hard work. These muscles are not. This is not an Instagram filter. This is what it looks like. It's all there. My cardio, nobody quits me. I outlast everybody. I go and go. I get my friends to Shark Tank me. I'm fast. I'm strong. I'm explosive. But not just as an athlete, but also just as a martial artist. I have a lot of technical knowledge on the feet, on the ground, everywhere. So I just think that I'm a level above her every place, and I have absolutely no doubt that I'm going to win. Of course, it's, like I said, it's a fight. Anything could happen. I'm humble still. I mean, she could, who knows? That's why we're getting in there and finding out. But yeah, I'm going into the weekend really confident.
You know what, man? What you just said is right on the dime. Hey, it's a fight. It can go. It can go either way. And your attitude, you can call it ego or whatever, but as a fighter getting into that cage, you need to have that mentality. You need to feel like, you know what I mean? You need to believe that you're going to win. That goes for both opponents. You need to have that. If you don't have that, there's no reason to even get in that cage. If you have any doubt in your mind, that can be a downfall for you. So whatever happens in that fight, you know what I mean? I hope you guys can shake hands after. You guys show respect to each other after. I believe that'll happen. I'll be right there. Hopefully, regardless of whatever happens, I can get an interview with you and her after the fight, and I can meet you guys face to face. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, as far as like sponsors and things like that go, do you have sponsors? Are you looking for sponsors? And is there anybody out there you'd like to give some props and some thanks to before this fight?
Yeah, so Rev Gear is my sponsor, and they've been sponsoring me since before COVID, so at least a couple years. But they've been really good to me. I really appreciate Paul Revlin and all of the people at Rev Gear. They've been great. Always keeping me hooked up with the best gear, MMA. They send me jiu-jitsu gis, of course. I've been really fortunate to have them, and I'm always looking for other sponsors, of course. Being a fighter, there's a lot of expense. You have to pay your gym fees and your privates and supplements. And really, where are the supplement companies out there? Where are the supplement companies at? Because I mean, come on, don't you want me like representing your shop? Let's go, come on.
Yeah. Hey, do you have any supplement companies thus far?
I'm not sponsored by any supplement companies, no. But,
what do you like to use? Is there a certain supplement out there that you recommend or that you like to use?
Well, I really like Athletic Greens, but they're so expensive, So come on, Athletic Greens, let's go. But they're a big company, I'm sure they.
Now, you know what? Athletic Greens, though, they're still a new company, and they're always looking to sponsor people. Hey, they're people like Athletic Greens and companies like that. They're always looking for a positive person like you and someone that can put their name out there. So yeah, we just got, you know what? That's why I'm doing this show. Hopefully it's still new and we're still growing, but hopefully we get the right eyes at the right time on things that people like you say. And yeah, you keep doing what you're doing. You keep the training hard and keep doing what you're doing. I believe, you'll get what you want in this MMA fighting world. Besides MMA, what do you do on the outside? I know this is one of your biggest loves in life, training in MMA, but what do you do besides this? What are like your occupation or on the outside?
Yeah, well, I'm actually sitting here in my gym, so I'll show you. This is Willow's Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, the gym that I own. So I train in the mornings and then I teach at night, and that's all I do. I'm a full-time martial artist now. So before that, I worked in my parents' bee business because they're commercial beekeepers, and so I managed and ran a commercial beekeeping outfit for 10 years, and we bred and raised queen bees and sold those to other beekeepers, and of course pollination services and honey and packaged bees, all those things. So yeah, I was in the bee industry for 10 years before this, but now it's gym life, running a kids program, kids jiu-jitsu, and then I teach adult jiu-jitsu and then MMA striking. So Willow's Jiu-Jitsu and
Man,
MMA.
dude,
What's up?
that's cool. Hey, your family's business, the bee business has always fascinated me. Just the other day, Joe Rogan actually on his podcast, he had a beekeeper. Did you see that show by chance?
I saw it. I didn't listen to it yet, but I did see it on the list. Yeah, I need to listen to that.
Oh yeah. I forget the lady's name, but she's in the bee business and she raises honeybees. What an awesome culture that is, man. What a fascinating thing. I've
It
always
is.
been interested in bees, but wow, I love honey too. Raw honey is one of my favorite things. But man, hey, bees, what a trip.
Yeah. If I'll have to put a jar of honey in for you when I see you at the fight.
Oh, heck yeah, you bring some honey, man. I'm on top of it. Hey, and you could always, if your family, you could send me a link to their link if you have anything like that that you would like advertised, and I'll put it out there, most
Thank
likely
you.
for sure. Now, you're coming from Sacramento. Are your mom and your dad, or are your family members and friends traveling down here too?
Uh, no, I don't like my parents going to my MMA fights. It just, especially my mom, like I can't have her watch me. That's too stressful. I tell my parents about my fights now. I used to not tell them when I had fights. I would just like, I'd be cutting weight and stuff. And, the beekeeping business, obviously it's a family business, but we had a lot of employees. And it was funny because the employees would know I was cutting weight because I'm having to, I'm drinking all this water and I'm having to stop every 10 minutes to pee. And they all know what's up. Like they all know I'm fighting. And it's like this secret. I'm like, don't tell my parents.
Oh
I can't,
man.
So I was like fighting on the DL for a couple years, really, until my dad finally came around. He was the one that was like super opposed to it. And but he finally came around this last year and gave me his blessing and told me he was okay with me doing it, and that, if I was going to fight, I should just go ahead and let them know when I was fighting. So I let them know now when I'm fighting, but I always try to kind of downplay it. I'm always like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's just some amateur fight. Oh, she's just some chump. Like, don't worry, it's all fine, And of course, that's not the truth. The truth is, every fighter's dangerous. Every opponent's dangerous. And whether it's amateur or pros, terrible things can happen. But hey, that's just the risk you take in life. You get in your car and you get on the freeway, something terrible can happen. I mean, you can't think about it, You only live once, you might as well just enjoy it and go for it. But and I love taking risks. I'm an adrenaline junkie. So, but yeah, my mom and dad will not be in attendance. I told them not to come. My uncle will probably be there. My uncle comes to most of my fights. And then yeah, several of my teammates are carpooling down there with me. So I'll have a little bit of a group down there.
That's awesome. Hey man, I know how it was. I only had 4 fights in my career, but all 4 of those fights I had my mom there and my friends and family, and yeah, no parent, I don't think there's any parent out there that wants to see their child go in and do that. And
Mm-mm.
moms have a love, dads have that love for their child too, but moms, hey man, our moms, they have a love for us, and they're always going to worry about us, especially when you hear that your child's getting into a cage to fight another person, to do battle with this other person in front of thousands of people. And nowadays with the technology, you guys are fighting online. Anybody in the world can watch this. It's man, it's got to be a trip for a parent. But they know what's going on. Their love is behind you 100%, and they wish you the best. The main thing that a parent hopes is that their child comes out of this, unharmed. And
Yeah.
I believe both you and your opponent It's going to be a great fight. You guys are going to come out of there. You know what I mean? You're going to do your thing. It's a fight. Anything can happen. You can get hurt. You know what I mean? It happens. But
Well,
like you
we'll be
said, you can get,
fine.
yeah,
We train for
you can
this.
get
Our
hurt in
bodies,
anything.
yeah, our bodies are conditioned for it. And honestly, the refs do a really good job. And I know sometimes they get a little bit of flack from the fans because they're like, "Oh, you stopped the fight too soon." But listen, that is literally their job, is to keep the fighter safe. You just can't get mad at the refs. And you know, I understand. I mean, I've never, I haven't been stopped, but you know, I mean, I've been on just the bad end of decisions and things like that. But ultimately, that's my responsibility, right? It's my responsibility to finish the fight. It's my responsibility if I'm in trouble, I need to get out of there quickly. I can't just chill and think that the ref's just going to let me get beat on, you know? Yeah, you can't get mad at those refs, but they do a really great job to keep us safe. Um, you know, 559 does a good job. They have their ambulance on site. They have the paramedics. It's totally fine. It's as safe as anything. I mean, it really, you can get hurt
Yeah,
doing
it's
anything.
true. That's true. Anything can happen in there. The refs are just doing their job. For every fighter, you know, to each their own. But yeah, it really is up to the fighter. It's up to you when you get in there to do what's going to happen. So yeah, hey man, props to Jeremy and 559 and everybody that's out there. Also, a big thank you to all the fans that are out there that have already gotten their tickets and people that are coming to support our sport. Now, guys, the tickets for this show, I say it all the time, but I don't say it unless it's true. The tickets might already be sold out. If you want to get a ticket for the show, some of the fighters still have tickets. Don't reach out to the fighter. Get a hold of me. Get a hold of the coaches or the team. You can reach out to Jeremy or Mike Marino. You can reach out to Antonio Hood. There's some tickets out there, but don't wait. They're going to be gone quick. Now, man, not much more I can say. This is your last week before the fight. What does the fighter, you know, in your position, what do you do these next 4 or 5 days to prepare yourself? You're already prepared physically. I already know that. But there's other young fighters out there that are watching this and that are going to be watching your show that need the advice. What what do you think is important this last 4 days coming up to the fight to prepare yourself mentally and maybe physically?
You can't do too much. There's no cramming for a fight. It's not like a test. You can't stay up all night studying. You can't do that. The hard work is done, or it's not done. But that's your problem if you didn't do it. I did the hard work. I've been training for this for a while, and I'm absolutely prepared. So I know that this last week I don't have to be pushing myself. I'm already on weight. You know, she's coming down a little bit to fight me, and I'm coming up a little bit to fight her. She's a little bit bigger than me, but that's fine. We're close enough. But it's nice. I don't have to cut. You know, my weight's, I'm walking around at 160, so I just walk in there, step on the scale. So all it is this week is I still like to get in the sauna because I feel like it's good for my muscles. It helps just get the lactic acid out. Just the sauna just makes me feel really good if I can drink water. If I'm cutting weight and not drinking water and in the sauna, that's rough. But when I don't have to cut and I just get in the sauna a little bit every day. I'm drilling. I'm shadow boxing, just light movement drills with my partners, but nothing crazy. Just, you know, absolutely no sparring. Just relax, just rest. I get my sleep. Make sure my nutrition's on point. You know, drinking my athletic greens and protein powder, and you know, just keeping myself healthy, feeling good. And then I just visualize. Over and over again all the different things that could happen in the fight, but always in a positive. So I'll visualize knocking her out. I'll visualize getting her up against the cage and TKOing her. I'll visualize taking her down and submitting her, taking her down and ground and pounding her. I just try to visualize every path to victory, everything that could happen. And I have my favorite combinations in mind. I have my favorite strikes. I have, you know, just my favorite submissions, of course. I just have it all in my mind, and I just think on it over and over and over again. And another thing that I like to tell myself, you know, especially with this fight, because I've worked really, really hard to get ready for this fight, is I deserve this. You know, I deserve to win this. I've done everything. There's no reason for me to lose. I've done everything to get this belt and to get this victory. So I owe it to myself. I owe it to my coaches, to my teammates who've put all the time into me but my coaches especially, but myself. I mean, I owe it to myself and I deserve it. So I'm gonna go out there and take what's mine rightfully. And that's not me saying that because out of arrogance. That's me saying that out of the hard work that I've put in, because I know what I've done to prepare for this, and it's time to collect on that now.
That's awesome. That's a great mentality to have. Both you and your opponent both have a great mentality and a great outlook on this. So, man, I can't wait. This is going to be a great fight. I'm super excited for it. Everybody out there, like I said, you can get a hold of myself. You can don't try to get a hold of Joy this last week. You can get a hold of her coaches or maybe your teammates. I want you, man. I wish you the best. I hope that you get your mentality. Looks like your mentality's right already, but keep that mentality right for this weekend. Are you already? What day are you coming to Visalia? I know the weigh-in's the day of the fight.
I'm gonna come down on Friday. I don't like to drive and fight on the same day, so we're gonna come down Friday, spend the night, chill, and then we get weigh-in Saturday morning and get the job done Saturday night.
Okay. Well, if you have any, I know you've been here before already, but if you have any questions about places to eat or anything like that, you need information about Visalia, you can hit me up. Okay, just send me a message. I'll give you any info I can. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. I thank you for coming on at the last minute. Hey, I really, really appreciate you guys. Like I said, I'll talk to you at the fight. I'll wait till after. You and your opponent both, I want to come up and meet you guys face to face. But yeah, just like that, everybody out there, I want to thank you. Enjoy the rest of your week. Get that mind right. And I wish you and your opponent both the respect and the best of luck in this fight.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, Sid. Hey, much love to you. Much love to everybody out there. Please like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and pass this on, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joy.
Bye.